Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket. Now, last Friday, I was lucky enough to get a visit from Siobhan, John, and Maya from Media Molecule, and they brought with them an early copy of Dreams. Now, I, like you guys, have been wondering what the game is and how it works, and over the course of about an hour, we sat down and they showed me what it's capable of. Enjoy! Siobhan Reddy, Studio Director of Media Molecule. Welcome back to the couch.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm going very well.
Awesome.
Now, we've got a strange man behind us as well.
We do.
The strange man is John Eckersley.
That's very good, yes.
He is one of the artists for Dreams. I was going to say art director, but that's not.
No, that's not me. That's not me.
Maybe after this.
Maybe.
Get that bump. So, what's going to happen is John is going to be creating a level in Dreams for us as Siobhan and I have a chat. He asked what I would like to see, and I said Gotham, and he went, I can make you the best Gotham you've ever seen in your entire life, and I can do it in about 15 minutes.
Good on.
Awesome.
So, good luck,
Yep.
Thanks.
and we'll
I'm
check in with you throughout.
Okay.
Okay.
That's also why we're sitting weirdly apart,
Yeah.
because he's controlling there.
Yeah.
We feeling good about this?
Yeah, great, actually. We've sort of got to a really good point within
Yep.
the studio. Should I explain what's going on?
Please
on screen
do.
a little bit? Firstly, you're seeing your little imps. And you'll see that the little mouth is moving when I'm speaking. Basically, imps are your way of being able to emote within the world. But they're also very powerful, so they're the way of being able to create also. So Dreams is our next foray into user-created content. And one of the big things that we really wanted to do with Dreams was we wanted to sort of go 3D, so move from the 2.5D we had within LBP to 3D. And we really wanted to create something where people could express themselves. There are a lot of different words that we've been talking about as we've been making Dreams. One of them is dreams, the word itself. And the dreams are like this amazing thing that we can do.
Yeah.
You know, and our dreams, we don't really you move from really different places. Sometimes they're really meaningful, sometimes they're really wacky, sometimes you have a whole different, a whole sort of story going on throughout a night, and sometimes you have like a whole bunch of different things. And they're unique to people, they're unique to you. And so we really sort of have loved that. We've always loved the idea of jamming within the molecule. Jamming being like...
Just like riffing on creating stuff?
Yeah, but making games is actually, you may not have heard this, can be quite complicated.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, a bit complicated. And sometimes, working with people can also be a bit complicated.
Like John?
Well, sometimes.
Oh, just thrown under the bus. Oh, the fear in the eyes.
I'm kidding. John's the best.
For him to find out like this.
I know.
Live. No pressure.
No, John is wonderful to work with. But you'll agree, won't you, John? Like jamming
it
is one of
really
those
hard.
things. It's like it's always been something that we've really wanted to do, and we have that as a natural style of working. But making a tool that actually makes it an easy thing to do was one of the aims that we've had. Collaboration is a really, really, really big goal for Dreams.
Yeah. And so, like, because with Little Big Planet, you had, okay, we've got a platformer game here, but then you can make whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're obviously doubling down on making whatever you want here. There is the game element, which we'll get to.
Yep.
But at this point, like, what lessons did you take from Little Big Planet, that being your sort of first foray into that?
I think one of the main ones being that humans are wonderful creative beings.
Right.
And that actually with tools people create amazing things. And that when we made LBP, people just did such incredible stuff with it. In Tearaway, people did amazing stuff within the tools there also. And so with Dreams, the thing was we knew that if we could create tools, the big difference being we wanted them to be able to, when John creates something, we want his style to come across. And I think that was one of the lessons that we learned from LBP was that that's really important, and everybody within our studio wanted to be able to do that. So that became a really big goal for Dreams.
And so, in what way can John's style come across compared to like yours? Like, how is that
That's a good
shown in
question
the
for
game?
John, actually.
How can my style come across?
Yeah, how can I see you in the game compared to like Siobhan's?
So I kind of liken it to concept art. You can immediately tell someone's concept art from their style, and that's just coming from how they're using the brush. The tool's the same, which is just a pencil, but it's how you use it. And because we've got such an interesting use of the input, I think that style then carries into how people are kind of making their stuff.
For someone who is fundamentally uncreative like myself, can I just steal your style?
Yeah, totally.
And steal your style and put
Yeah.
stuff together. So for example, like what you're making right now, you've put some skyscrapers up, which
Yep.
I was watching are just rectangles that you punched holes in,
Yep.
and they've turned into skyscrapers.
Yep.
Yep.
You're putting down rubble.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's all been pre-made. So in this area here, what this menu here is they are a whole bunch of creations that have been made by other people within the studio. Actually, this is all John Beach.
Right. Okay.
And so John Beach actually is one of the guys in the studio from the LBP community.
Yep.
And he is
Also,
he-
one of the people you hired based off
Yeah.
stuff that they made.
Yeah. And he really specializes in like mechs and sort of sci-fi is one of the things that he really loves to build. And so it's no surprise that John Eckersley has gone into has gone searching through his collections
For Gotham.
to be able to find things to be able to build this cityscape.
Interesting.
And that's one of the really cool things with Dreams is that, I mean, that's case in point style.
Yeah.
John
He's industrial, mechanical, that sort of stuff.
yeah,
and
exactly. So therefore,
Then what's your personal style?
Kind of more painterly, I suppose.
Yep.
Because the engine also, you can use it to be very loose. We have this concept of tight and loose. More the architectural stuff can be quite tight,
Yep.
like this kind of hard edges. I really like trying to use it to make it as painterly as possible.
Right,
So that's
okay.
very much my style.
You're the Monet of the team.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
And so for something like the skyscraper that you just made,
Yeah.
can you then save that as an object that I could use in my thing?
Yes.
Is that how that works? Like,
Yeah.
so this rubble was made at some point, and then you've just gone, okay, I'm going to use that. But you could save anything that you're making right now as a sort of asset that is available to the community? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Yep.
All this creation,
yeah.
why are we creating this stuff?
Why do you ever create anything?
Well, I don't create anything because I'm
Well, you
terrible
create a
at
TV
it, but-
show.
Well, but
You know,
Pete does most of the work.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things is with Dreams is that people love expressing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we have always done as a studio is sort of play with that idea of bringing almost like physical analogies to the digital world. Our art director, Kareem, is a really wonderful painter. What he was looking to do was sort of help create some tools that actually enabled people to be able to just sort of pick up and understand what
Yeah.
they were doing and get and to be as intuitive as possible. Because one of the things that stops people creating is often that the tools are really hard.
Yes.
Or the tools aren't intuitive.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, we know that people love creating, and in Dreams they'll be able to create games, they'll be able to create movies, they'll be able to create music, they'll be able to create characters. They may be somebody who just loves building trees.
Yeah.
Or they may be somebody who loves building mechs. And in Dreams they'll be able to do that. And I think one of the most exciting things is that a lot of people who haven't actually been using 3D software before are able to actually become 3D artists.
And so do you see it as much as you'll have a game element in there, there's also like just a cathartic creation element to it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, very much like that's when we're able to watch the Maya and John. I mean, one of the things that you're not seeing because John is behind us. I mean, we're seeing the results on screen, but it's always really interesting to watch people create in Dreams.
Yeah.
Like this process here of just seeing the choices that he's made. That's it's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So imagine that there's actually going to be like a whole lot of people just sort of spectating other people doing live creation.
You can watch people create
Yeah,
stuff
you
live?
can, you can.
And how big are things are we going to be able to create?
Well, I mean, just like LBP, there'll be a thermometer.
Yep.
So basically, people will have to kind of balance their own areas in order to make sure that they sort of stick within the thermometer.
Something with Little Big Planet, which I adored, and I loved all the platformer stuff because that's totally my jam. I did some of the creation stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of investment I need to put into this to do the thing that I want to do. How sort of pick up and play is this in comparison to Little Big Planet?
The way that we will introduce people to Dreams is that there will be a Media Molecule content to kickstart the community.
Yeah.
And within that content, we're sort of calling it a curated journey. And within those sort of first few hours, or however long it is that people are playing, they will learn the basics of creation.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people, I think creation is going to be very much about collage and remixing. And so we may start from you know, the idea of John shared up his buildings, and it might be like, let's try within our narrative, we will be asking people to do creative things.
Yep.
A bit like we did in Tearaway. I mean, John at the moment really here is just basically picking things up and putting them down.
And I don't really have a plan here because it's so fast.
That's what I was
to
going
make
to say.
stuff. It's much like I'm sketching and I'm seeing what works and what doesn't. And I'm kind of unafraid to just try stuff.
Yeah, it
and
seems
some
to
stuff
be that-
hasn't worked, and I'm deleting it and trying it again.
Yeah, and it seems that a lot of what you're doing is putting something down, building something around it, and then
Yeah.
going, okay, I'm now going to shift that first thing,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
moving
Yeah.
stuff around, which is awesome because you seem to be picking up things that look as though they're fundamental to holding the whole thing together, and
Yes.
then being able to still move them around. As an artist on the game,
Mm-hmm.
is this how you're actually working? Like when you create stuff for the game,
Yep.
as in for the disc that we're going to get, you're sitting there with a move
Or DualShock.
like this, or the DualShock, yeah.
Yep.
So everything is
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, what happens? Like, you put a huge amount of time into this engine, I assume, and you did the same for Little Big Planet, and then I think you had a different engine for Tearaway as well.
That's right, yep.
What happens to these things once they're done? Are you licensing this off at some point, like, or is it just because you're creating, like, you're getting communities to create?
I mean,
it's worth it.
one of the things that's special about Media Molecule is that we do love creating fresh tech.
Yeah.
And so our programming team, they really thrive on that.
Yeah.
So, like with Tearaway, I mean, the engine was what, basically held it together.
Yeah, and because the paper was already, like, everything
Yeah.
had to make sense paper-wise.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was bespoke. And with Dreams, it's the same thing. It's like for it to really, to have sort of a resonance, the painterly style was crucial for the ideas of like dreaming and expression
Yep.
and being able to get, what you're seeing also here is like the tight to loose. So some of those sort of the doorways there, it's sort of that very kind of crisp
Yep.
edging.
Yeah.
And then in other areas where John was putting down the rubble, that
Yep.
was a much more sort of
Yeah,
loose style.
organic sort of stuff.
And
looking
that,
stuff.
I mean, and that sort of, that's really crucial to the idea of dreams. That sort of blurriness of dreams. That's sort of the range of visuals too. So it means that you can really get like such a broad range of looks. And when we show through some of the play content we have, you'll really see some of that. So I mean, look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, what's happening here?
So that basically, this is like what we call sort of painterly.
Yeah.
That's basically just like paint. For us, basically being able to achieve this sort of style was really important for what Dreams is.
Are you making Gotham style sort of like smog?
Yeah, that's kind of what and that was, I didn't know what I was
This
doing
is why,
there,
this
so I
is why
kind of
you're
Yeah.
employed on the game, and then me.
I kind of
Yeah.
thought, I don't know where I'm going with this. Then it kind of, maybe kind of foggy-ish.
Yeah. Do you like, do you guys jam and riff together when you're coming up with ideas?
Yes.
Yeah. And you must sometimes like stumble upon something that was like a happy accident.
Yeah,
Like,
totally,
you
yeah.
didn't- That's another one of that's one of the things that has been really successful with where we've got to with Dreams so far, is that we started off with that as an idea, like part of jamming, part of the interesting thing of working together. The really is when you stumble upon ideas like happy accidents.
Yeah.
And so sort of serendipity was this word we used to say, like, and we still do, which is sort of that sort of serendipitous moments, not knowing that you were going to, take that path.
Yeah, everything just sort of came
Just like
together.
that smog,
Yeah.
just there. It's what John's showing here is like basically he's sort of tinting. So he's just
Oh,
sort
wow.
of
So I'm taking, I've made one or a couple of really basic ones, and then I'm going to make them a bit more individual.
Yeah, right, okay.
And now I'm going to scour, I think, through the search
looking
stuff
awesome.
to add some more.
It's a bit like the beginning of Batman, isn't it? Alleyway.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, this is where Batman's parents were killed, so this is a really cheerful place to be able to be showing off your game. This is a murder scene. You're a monster. Okay, so John's going to put the final touches on our Gotham here, and then we're going to get Maya in, who's another one of the artists from Media Molecule, to be able to put a character in, and then we can actually run around here and sort
That's
of see
right.
it from there.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, so Gotham's built, and now it needs a defender. So we've brought in Maya.
Yep.
Hello. Maya is not the defender of Gotham, but
She could be,
she's
though.
going. She could be. I'm not. I wasn't saying she couldn't be. I was just saying she isn't.
Yeah, but she
Let's
could be.
just call a fact. But I have given her some direction of who I would like to be this city's defender.
Okay.
It's Jolene. So we're gonna have her running around Gotham,
Awesome.
trying to save the day. So this is now character creation.
That's right.
This works along the same line. I mean, I'm intimidated by it. This works along the same lines as the world creation. Like you can
It
build
does.
things from scratch.
Yep, you can make things from scratch. So where Kareem wanted to begin with this was all about silhouettes.
Yep.
So if you think of most of the character, like any character, particularly sort of the Disney approach to creating characters, they're basically all designed around the idea of silhouettes.
Yeah.
And silhouettes are basically just different proportions. And so with our character creator, that's where we wanted to begin. So, Mike, can you maybe just sort of show some proportion change, just so that we can sort of see like really quickly.
Oh,
You get
wow.
like a
And
whole
how are
bunch
you
of
doing
different.
that?
You're twisting. You're holding it and then just twisting it. So it's
Right.
kind of
Okay.
like turning it on and off, up
Yeah.
and down.
So like even just in those 5 seconds,
Yeah.
you've just seen like a whole bunch of different types of characters.
Yeah, there's big muscly character and then someone who's like
Yeah.
long and Nick Boyish. Yeah.
Yeah.
You starting off with a base, is this always the character
That's
like
the base.
that you start with?
I mean, that's the base. Yeah, that's the base we have right now. I mean, it's based on the sort of sketching mannequins.
Yep.
You've seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we're starting. And I mean, so far we've had this tool for a little while, and the insane amount of characters that have been created is just unbelievable. Like the breadth that people are able to achieve is fantastic.
Can you do animals out of this stuff?
People have created animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a biped
Yeah.
rather than a quadruped, but it's.
Will there be quadruped?
I mean, we're starting off with this,
Right, okay.
but like we will keep adding and adding and adding lots
Yeah.
of things to dreams. But you're just seeing colouring, basically using the same sort of approach to tools as everywhere else. This is like there is one menu and basically one system and one approach. And so that means that as Maya is moving between like characters and worlds, a lot of the same skills sort of follow
Yeah.
through.
So I'm beginning to see what you meant by if someone really likes making trees,
Yeah.
then their entire like dreams portfolio could
Yeah.
be just different kinds of trees.
That's right,
And then
yeah.
you go to that to steal trees from them and add them to your world and be able
to
like
remix and
yeah, steal is probably the wrong word
Yeah,
to say
it's
when
harsh.
when you're trying to encourage people to create things. Appropriate, remix. What remix is the word you're using?
remix, share,
Yeah, cool.
collaborate.
Yeah, so then
you know all
just
those nice words.
adding like Maya does. You focus more on characters
Yeah.
as opposed to John, who does environments.
I do both, but lately I've been doing more characters, and I
Yeah.
was kind of like getting into how to get my style through in this and
Yeah,
quick and get more comfortable with it.
this is so cool. I mean, this is terrifying right now when you're trying to put the eyes on, but the rest of it is really, really cool.
But it's great to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Like,
I
really
can see,
interesting,
I
really
can see
interesting to
how,
watch.
I can see how why you're putting the sort of viewer mode
Yeah.
in there because it's exciting to watch someone create something.
Yeah, because you don't really know, even though you've got an idea of what this character is, we don't really know what choices Maya's going to make.
Yeah,
And actually, another one of our sort of key words that we've had throughout this project has been performance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all sort of linked together, like jamming, performance, the dreaminess. Sort of, they all sort of have a sort of similar resonance. And with performance, it's like it's never been interesting to watch somebody make games because it's a lot of like button pressing,
Yeah.
menus.
Cody sort of
Yeah,
like,
it's like it's on a whole bunch of different machines. Whereas this is really interesting to watch because it's very much about like the process. What you see on screen is really beautiful. Look at that face! You're so happy.
That's a surprise.
I'm so
Maya
happy,
was
even
not
though
happy.
I hate this character so much. Like, there's a
Oh,
reason. There's a reason
why?
that she killed my boyfriend in a game.
No way.
And yeah, and so she's a
Whoa.
monster. And if
But
we
you
make her
must-
meet a grisly end in Gotham, that's probably a good
You
thing.
must be sort of trying to have some redemption for her because you're making her the protector. Of
That's
Gotham.
true. That's true. Yeah.
So
Maybe,
there's
maybe
something-
I'm the
there's something
screwed up
deep
one.
going on
yeah,
here.
there's something. Yeah, we're really working something out.
Yeah,
actually.
I think it's quite profound.
So what part of the process are you guys at now as a studio with the game?
So we have got to the point where we have a really amazing engine for creating worlds and characters and searching for different creations and sharing creations. I'm just going to pause 'cause this is awesome.
Yeah, because a hat
my
just
God,
appeared out of like a block. Are you feeling the pressure right now?
Yeah. But
Say something.
and
Say something.
I don't want to get the giggles again. Yeah, we're basically at the point now where we are really sort of starting to focus on what our sort of curated journey is going to be. I'm getting them ready for the beta trial to start next year, and really start working with inviting more people into the community.
Yeah.
Because for us, like, within our studio, we have, 55 people within the studio, and the amount of styles...
Which is not big.
No, and we already have, thousands of dreams, and it's really awesome as any new person joins the team. We just see a whole new, different approach come through. You know, Maya joined us 4 months ago from the animation workshop in Denmark, and when we had 2 interns, she was an intern, the 2 interns started on the same day, Emily and Maya, and they joined the team and basically just rocked it from day one.
Yeah.
And brought a completely different aesthetic to the studio. This is really cool. Like, what we can...
Get some light because it's super dark in this room.
Okay, up into the
Let's
clouds.
go to the heaven.
Where you belong, Jolene. Where you belong.
So yeah, I mean, we know that within the engine you can create really amazing worlds and characters, and so we're now sort of with one of the first.
Oh no.
But that's I love watching this. It's like, what's going to happen next?
Just accidental testicles. Just out of nowhere.
Where do you see testicles? I don't see anything. I don't see them. Why?
So you started in August. You would not have had access to these tools before then.
No.
So how different is this from normal 3D software? I guess I'm saying if you started in August and you're this proficient with it, is it because it's easy to pick up, or are you just
It's
awesome?
really easy to pick up, and
Right.
it's more intuitive actually.
Than mouse
because,
keyboards
yeah,
and stuff.
if you think about it, it doesn't make much sense to sit with a mouse
Yep.
or a tablet and do 3D or sculpting and like.
You're actually
So
like...
this is actually for me closer to sculpting in real life.
Yeah, interesting.
The only thing that took a bit of time to get used to was the navigation, like zooming in, getting used to zooming in and out like this. But when you think about it again, we do it with tablets and and like smartphones. So
You
I
sort of
mean,
pick that
yeah,
up
yeah.
relatively
If you
quickly.
get used to the thought, then it sort of starts to make more sense.
Yeah, very cool.
I mean, within the first week of Maya and Emily being in the studio, they had already kicked out a whole bunch of characters. And what was really fascinating about that time was you couldn't save. So they couldn't actually save their characters.
Oh, really?
So every day
Oh,
they
no.
would take... No, but it was really interesting because, I mean, for the team it was particularly interesting because it meant that we were... they were like really putting the character creation through its paces. Oh, that's nice, Shad. Oh, that's good. Oh my god, Jamie's flowers. Jamie is one of our QA testers, and she is awesome, and she is really amazing at flowers.
Amazing flowers.
So
Interesting.
every time anyone needs a flower, they always go to Jamie's collection. And
That
look
is
for
so
flowers.
interesting. Is there something that you're proficient at that people are doing?
Not really, no.
Oh, that's such a
Not yet.
shame.
It's such so sad.
Do you want us to
isn't
cut that bit?
it? No, it's fine. I will get there. So there she. I mean, that's
Okay.
that's pretty.
That's
pretty good.
pretty good.
Okay, through the heavens.
And she crashes down
Down
into the city.
into the city. Yeah. She's pretty big.
Oh, wow. Oh, so
okay.
you can just resize it on
Yeah,
the go?
yeah.
Look at that.
Okay.
That is so cool.
Okay. So there she is.
Pretty dark, but.
Okay, put her in the light. There we go. All right. So now you will have to give Maya some guidance.
Yeah.
On how you would like her to walk. So we'll just wait 1 second. So the menu you're about to see is like a very work in progress menu. So
Okay.
excuse the visuals.
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So what you're doing now is you're actually designing the walk cycle.
But also like the pose, how is she? Okay, wait, I'll
Yeah,
just
just
pose
so
her
guys, yeah.
like she is.
Yeah, so like in the game, she just sort of walks along like that. But let's actually make her walk
Yeah,
like a human
because
being.
actually, as soon as you start a character, as soon as you load up that biped
Yeah.
at the beginning, it's already alive.
Yep.
It's already. So if we had just taken the very plain thing that was right there at the beginning,
Yep.
we would have already we would have been able to take that into the game immediately like that. They're
Wow.
alive immediately. We really wanted to remove all the barriers for people so that they can actually sort of just get cracking. So now what we're going to show is actually giving some personality.
Cool. So
So,
she's
look at
like
all these
she's
little-
like old, so she's slow.
Okay.
I reckon she's got a bad back.
Yeah.
Can we give her a
So-
limp?
We can give her
Or like some-
What's a limb?
maybe
Yeah.
lumberiness. Oh no. She needs to be slower. Stride length, probably less. Not lumber.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now we're getting there.
arm vigor.
Yeah. Now fill her
Oh,
with hate.
wobbliness.
Back
Sass.
stiffness.
Should we
What's sass?
It's not having that much of an impact on this.
Because she's going too slow. She can't
Usually
be sassy.
the hips go like.
Ah,
rotated
right,
out
yeah.
So you can.
So you'll see that like you just basically move between play and create. And there she is.
So what just happened there? So we like possessed her?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
So that's one of the core.
Ah, there she is.
There she is.
Look how proud she is. She's like Bane.
She is happy.
What are you laughing at?
And so you said
my
like
town.
you can make like this could be a game, like you could make this
Yeah.
like a platform or something.
Absolutely.
But you could also make this a movie.
You could,
so we
yeah.
could make an actual Batman to come
Yeah,
down in
we
here
could.
and like stop her.
We could maybe
Tyrannical.
animate something really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe bring in like.
Animate the.
Maybe
Can we just
bring
have something
in-
really heavy?
Maybe
Crush
bring
her?
in like one of the skulls or something.
Yeah, we can put in.
This is another thing that's really awesome. So animating, another area which we really wanted to be able to make really simple for people.
Yep.
We always had this idea of like, it's really awesome to just be able to play with a toy.
Yeah.
And just be like, doo, 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 you know,
Yeah.
flying around. Like that's the analogy for dreams.
Yep.
It's like it should be that simple. So what you're seeing here is Myra's just moving around that skull.
That the skull, incidentally, his name is George.
George.
That's her husband that she killed.
I see.
Or was responsible
He's
for a lot
haunting
of
her.
death.
Like,
Yes, as he should be.
There you go. That was so. That's now an animated. That's now animated.
Amazing. That easy.
That easy.
And so then, just quickly, because we're currently being told that like we have no time left.
No time left.
But can we jump into and look at some of the game stuff?
Yes, we can.
You guys did amazing
Myra's-
work, John.
Myra, yes, we should give them a cheer.
John and Maya, amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is, I call this Bear Murphy,
Yep.
and this is a scene that John actually built this scene, and then when we release streams out to the community, we will actually have made some media molecule content
Yeah.
that basically kind of will be built upon this idea of dream surfing. And so dream surfing is generally the idea of being able to move between different dreams. So here we are in this beautiful redwood forest, and whilst you're playing the game, you'll look for doorways and look for exits, and bump into completely new worlds of characters. So this one here is a space level. This is our space girl, and she is happy, and because she's in space.
Wow.
That's awesome. And John is like, just sort of surfed through into the next dream, and is now kind of needs to figure out what he needs to do next. And you'll see here John's using his imp. So the imp there is your sort of very tactile interaction with the world.
Interesting,
So
right.
you're able to sort of pull and poke and move. And
Yep. So then,
So now we have this amazing mech.
because you've possessed this,
Yeah. So now we can sort of we're very much more powerful, so we're able to smash through those crates.
Oh, wow.
And what you may recognise, some of this scene actually was part of the scene that John used to create Gotham City.
this was in Gotham.
Yeah. There you go.
Step on John.
John is just picking up one of these lights, so throughout the game you'll collect things. So this is exactly the same mechanic
Yeah.
that he was using to place lights whilst he was creating the level. So as you're playing,
Okay.
you're actually really going to learn.
So this
creating.
is so I guess because with Little Big Planet you could have just played the whole game and never picked up any of
Yeah.
the creation stuff. Whereas here you're actually going like the creation stuff, you're building it into the game.
That's
so you're
correct.
using exactly the same way.
That's
so that
right.
you do actually learn as you play.
You will absolutely.
That's yeah, okay, that's really smart.
In fact, play and create are completely intertwined
Yeah.
and share, to be honest. But very much play and create, we haven't segmented them in the same way. So it means that like players will be able to choose how much create mechanics they actually add into their own levels. So they may allow you to be able to basically create UGC in their levels. So this one here, you may recognise this painting.
Yes.
So this is a Cézanne painting, and
I don't remember that guy.
well, the pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just felt that it
It
needed
needed some personality.
So one of
Look,
our
you're okay, Scissor.
one of our artists, Menlu, has actually been going through sort of some of his favourite painters,
Oh wow.
and has been actually recreating scenes. So this is like, if you imagine the sort of context of dream surfing and the idea of a curated journey, our Media Molecule content will really sort of lay out this idea of like moving between
Yeah.
very different types of dreams
And all the potential.
and all the potential.
Yeah. So you guys must be stoked to release this
We can't
because if you actually what you need is as many people sort of playing it as possible to create
Yeah.
like all this stuff that you go, oh, we gave you the tools to do that and you blew us away with things that we wouldn't have imagined.
Yeah, and so like it's one of those things where it's about sort of really changing our people's fear of digital creation.
Yeah.
This is a tool which really is one that enables people to be able to express themselves and then be able to do all sorts of things with it. So this is Frances, and this is Frances.
Oh wow.
So Frances here, she's been 3D printed. So you're able to sort of 3D print from the game, and then it was painted.
Can you only 3D print characters?
No.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we're incredibly excited about like the games that we're going to make with it, and the films we're going to make with it, and the art we're going to make with it, and then like see what the community make, and then this idea of dream surfing is a way of kind of knitting that together. And one of the really exciting things is going to be sort of how we sort of present that to people via having like different types of maps, and there's so much more to come. We're going to do beta trials next year.
Can I be part of it?
Why not?
But you said it on camera, so it has to happen. Siobhan, Maya, John, thank you very
Thank
much
you very
for
much.
joining us. This has been this has been so exciting for me because I
Awesome. I'm
love
so
all of your
pleased.
games. So I'm so thrilled that you
Yay.
came in, and good luck with all the work you have to do that isn't being filmed and under time pressure.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
All right, that's it
Great.
for today's episode of Pocket. My Pocketeers, NichBoy out.
Hi, Siobhan out.
John out. Now just yell Maya out. You nailed it. Great work. Terrific.